Welcome back to Latest Trends in Education. I'm Dr. Lara, and today we're diving into a crucial topic for every educator and learner: effective feedback. But first, let me ask you a few questions. How do you know if your feedback is helping your students? Have you ever wondered if your students truly understand the feedback you give them? Are your students improving after receiving feedback? Or perhaps you've asked yourself, am I giving too much feedback or not enough? If these questions resonate, you're in the right place. To be effective, feedback must be clear, purposeful, meaningful, and compatible with students' prior knowledge. According to John Hattie in Visible Learning, when combined with effective instruction, feedback can be incredibly powerful in enhancing learning. So let's break down what makes feedback truly effective. Understanding the goal. First, students need an understanding of the desired goal. They need to know where they're heading. Present position. Second, they need evidence about their present position about that goal. They need to know where they currently stand, closing the gap. And finally, they need guidance on how to close the gap between the two. Now, let's dive into the types of feedback. Pat Tunstall and Caroline Gips classified feedback into two main types: evaluative and descriptive. Evaluative feedback: approval, disapproval, reward, punishment. Evaluative feedback involves a judgment by the teacher based on implicit or explicit norms. It might sound like, "That's a correct solution," or "That's not good enough." It can take forms such as approval, disapproval, rewards like gold stars, or punishments like having to redo a task. While evaluative feedback can sometimes motivate students, it often focuses more on compliance rather than understanding and improvement. It can make the good students feel better and the less able students feel worse, reinforcing a fixed mindset. Descriptive feedback: focus on learning outcomes, specific references to achievement, guidance for improvement. Descriptive feedback, on the other hand, focuses on identified learning outcomes and provides specific references to the student's achievement. It guides them towards improvement. An example might be, "That's a good introduction because you have covered the main points we discussed. Now, which points do you think you should expand on?" Descriptive feedback is far more effective because it focuses on what the student has done and what they need to do next to improve. It encourages a growth mindset and continuous learning. It's important to remember that feedback should not only focus on what is being learned, but also on how students should go about it. This involves discussing the learning intention and success criteria. Types of descriptive feedback prompts: reminder, scaffold, example. According to Clark, 2003, there are 3 types of prompts for providing feedback, depending on the student's needs: reminder prompts, scaffold prompts, and example prompts. Reminder prompts are gentle nudges that help students recall what they've learned. For example, "How could you solve a quadratic equation using the most suitable method?" Or, "Remember the rule about circles we talked about?" Reminder prompts: gentle nudges to recall learning. These prompts encourage students to use their prior knowledge and apply it to the current task. Scaffold prompts provide more structured support, helping students build on their current understanding. For example, "Why don't you try using factoring to solve the equation?" Or, "What about the rule which says that the area of a circle is PR2? Scaffold prompts: structured support to build understanding. These prompts offer a framework that students can use to progress in their learning. Finally, example prompts give students a model to follow. For instance, "Why don't you count how many times the 3 is added in 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3? Fill in the number of counts in underscore 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 x3 equal sign 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 as I'll say, or calculate using P2, multiply 27 by 27 then." Example prompts: models to follow. These prompts provide concrete examples that students can emulate, making abstract concepts more tangible. Effective feedback also means engaging students as active participants in the learning process. The feedback conversation must be a two-way street. Ask your students what support they need. For instance, "Is that enough, or do you need an example?" Moreover, it's crucial to check the adequacy of the feedback. Ask questions like, "Do you know what to do next?" Or, "Is that enough help?" Or, What will you do if you get stuck again? These questions help ensure that the feedback is understood and actionable. Check the adequacy of feedback. Ensure understanding and actionability. By verifying that students comprehend the feedback, you empower them to take the next steps in their learning journey. Finally, when giving written feedback, remember that some students might have difficulty understanding the points you're trying to make, or might struggle with reading your handwriting. The best way to ensure clarity is to ask the students to tell you what they think you are trying to say to them. This helps confirm their understanding. Now, let's talk about the impact of marks versus comments. Research by Clark, 2001, found that students given only marks made no gain from the first to the second lesson, while students given only comments scored on average 30% higher. Interestingly, giving marks alongside comments cancelled the beneficial effects of the comments. Marks versus comments lead to higher scores. So if you're going to grade or mark a piece of work, you might be wasting your time writing careful diagnostic comments. Instead, focus on providing comments that guide improvement. Clark suggests that when giving written feedback, highlight 2 or 3 successes in the student's work and one area where some improvement is necessary. This makes the feedback more focused and manageable for the student. Let's also consider the feedback sandwich method. This involves delivering feedback in a structured way that begins and ends with positive comments, with constructive criticism and guidance in between. For example, start with a positive comment like, "I liked how you explained the main concept clearly." Then provide constructive criticism. Next time, try to include more detailed examples, and end with another positive comment, "Your overall effort is excellent." Feedback sandwich: positive comment, constructive criticism, positive comment. This method helps students receive feedback in a more balanced and less intimidating way. Allow students time to act on the feedback. Use lesson time to redraft work. This allows students to focus on the feedback for improvement they have been given and reinforces the value of the feedback in a supportive environment. Additionally, create time in the lesson to talk to.
If you found this information valuable and would like the full presentation in PDF format, please write PDF in the comments. Remember, we have a vibrant community on LinkedIn called Latest Trends in Education where you can ask any questions you have. Whether I'm available or not, our community can assist you. We've tackled over 300 videos covering various teaching strategies and issues. Follow us on LinkedIn to stay updated.